Today we're talking burgers. I'm gonna tell you why your homemade burgers taste like crap, but how you can make the best burgers ever. For some reason, I've never made a burger at home that I was proud of. My burgers always just kind of taste like ground meat. But I'm gonna change that. Before I do, I need to set some sort of baseline of what a good burger is. And what better way than to grab some Shake Shack and N Out. The Shake Shack patty and bun are awesome, and you can't beat the value in that N Out. But there's still something missing for me. I don't want to make the best fast food burger, I want to make the best burger ever. And to do that, I was initially planning on making two different burgers. One, the burger recipe I followed for the last 10 years, and two, an elevated version of that same burger. But the more I thought about it, the deeper I went down the burger rabbit hole. And let me just tell you, I ended up making way more than just two burgers. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let me show you my OG burger recipe. I was always told that burgers are supposed to be simple. This is the burger recipe that I found from some YouTube channel like 15 years ago. This is back when I used to think Big Macs were all the rave and Whoppers were the gold standard of burgers. Naturally, I wanted a burger that would emulate the taste of those fast food burgers. This usually meant a thin, pretty uniform patty cooked without much color. The sauce, the lettuce, the bun, they play a pretty important role in the burger. So one of the components that we want to focus on today is going to be that sauce. I'm gonna call it the Big Mac sauce. You can call it whatever you want. Some places call it the comeback sauce, whatever. It's just some mixture of mayonnaise, mustard, relish, pickles, and ketchup. But let's take a step back and start with the beef, specifically an 80-20 blend. We're going to line up a tray with parchment paper for our patties, take apart our ground beef cylinder, and separate the beef into patty-sized portions. In this case, we're going for hockey ball-sized patties. You want to have some control over how slippery the patties can be. You want to be able to grab the patties, form it without sticking to your gloves, which will then allow us to go ahead and form our meatballs into meat patties. We want these patties to be fairly thin but large in diameter. Once formed, leave the patties in the freezer to firm up. Next is the secret sauce, made of mayo, garlic powder, cayenne pepper, onion powder, mustard, ketchup, salt, black pepper, and sweet relish. Fast food burgers like McDonald's also tend to use a lot of lettuce, specifically shredded iceberg lettuce, so we're going to do the same. We're also going to slice up a tomato and roughly dice an onion. I like to add mayo to my buns before toasting them, it gives them a nice crunch. Over to our cast iron with our burger patties. At this point, we season our patties with salt, garlic powder, and black pepper. We sear the patties for a few minutes and then flip, and then hit them with half slices of American cheese. After just a couple of minutes, we can harvest our patties and move on to toasting our buns. We want to toast the outsides and warm the insides. Next, we add a thin layer of our sauce to the bottom bun, add pickles, some lettuce, and two of our patties. And there you have it, 3 wonderfully made McDonald's, insert name here, fast food chain style burger. Slightly overcooked patty, looks kind of gray, has some browning. Let's see how it tastes. I know exactly how it's gonna taste. I've made this burger 1,000 times before, and it tastes pretty good. The sauce and the lettuce dominate the flavor experience. It's a good burger for sure, but is it the best? There must be a way to elevate that burger. It was fine. It was fine. I think we can do better. And in order to do better, we're going to use freshly packaged ground meat to form some thick burger patties. We create an indent in the middle so the patties cook more evenly. We also make golf ball sized meatballs, which we're going to use for smash burgers to compare against the grill burgers. We're adding our thick burgers directly onto hot coals to get some color. After a minute or so, we can flip the patties and let them be gently kissed by the flames. Kissed is the key word, no one wants burger cancer here. After letting the burgers bake inside the grill for a few minutes, we season again with salt and pepper, and this time put slices of American cheese. These burgers with the melted cheese on top are looking fantastic. While we're at it, we're also going to get our buns toasted. We're going to keep things pretty simple. Mayo, ketchup, and that's it. Single patty and bun on. We're going to cut into our burger to reveal a medium well-cooked thick burger. Let's see how it tastes. Right off the bat, I can tell you this burger is infinitely juicier. I'm almost shocked at how good it is. But the question is, what made it better? Was it the fresh meat or the way that we cooked it? And to answer that, we're back at our grill to make smash burgers with the same ground meat. We're taking the golf ball sized meatballs we made earlier and smashing them to a crisp. I like my burgers extra smashed, but trust me, they're going to thicken up as they reduce in diameter. One slice of cheese is enough for the 2 patties just because of how thin they are. We're also going to toast the buns in the leftover grease. We're going with the same combo of mayo, ketchup, patty, cheese, and bun. A smash burger cross section is a lot less exciting, but we're doing it anyway. I thought this burger was going to kick the thick burger's ass, but honestly, it didn't. Which tells me it was the meat that helped our burger. Which then begs the question, what if we made the quality of our meat even better? So we've assembled 4 different ideal cuts for meat grinding, cause I gotta know. Now that we've tried all the other kinds of burger, can we make our own burger from scratch? Our first cut is a fatty piece of brisket that we're going to trim and cut up into cubes. Then is our top sirloin followed by short ribs. And finally, a fatty chuck roast and some of that leftover brisket fat from earlier. Once our meat and our meat grinder have chilled in the freezer for a couple of hours, we're ready to start grinding. We're feeding in the meat cubes one at a time, alternating between the different cuts to get a nice blend of ground meat. With our freshly ground meat, we form meatballs for the smash burgers and a thick burger patty for the thick burger. We're searing the thick burger on the cast iron for a few minutes just to get some color before we throw in the oven to finish. Then come the smash burgers, which are slightly larger this time and are going to need 2 slices of cheese. Oh, and we're gonna go all out and add a few slices of bacon in there as well. For the buns, we're going to take a page from Shake Shack and use Martin's potato rolls, which we're toasting in the residual burger patty grease. We're assembling the burger with secret sauce, caramelized onions, butterhead lettuce, tomato, ketchup, and the patties. And of course, some bacon. And while both of these burgers are looking fabulous, is it the smash burger or the thick burger taking the crown today? First up is the smash burger, which as soon as I took a bite, I was in love. The freshly ground meat tasted absolutely amazing. Then came the thick burger, which looked killer and tasted like heaven. But if I had to choose, the thick burger was awesome, but the smash burger was on a completely different level. The crunchy bits of meat in every layer just made for the ultimate burger experience. Regardless, one thing is for sure, the freshly ground meat was an absolute game changer, and whether you're doing smash burgers or thick burgers, I would recommend grinding your own meat every single time. So, after having had about 7 different burgers today, I can tell you it's really hard to mess up a burger, but it also requires love to make a great burger. Regardless of how you make your burger though, at least there's no wrong way to eat it. Thanks for watching.